Welcome to you all. My name is Bright, and I will be taking you through the topic of today. I have with me my colleague here, Eman. Eman, please, can you say some words to colleagues?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this ASFI event, Dr. Nwaru's Tips and Tricks. I am Iman Sobh, Associate Professor of Chest Diseases at Al-Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. You will enjoy and you will participate in the following ASFI activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Eman.
Thank you.
All right. So if you are joining for the first time, welcome. We have this every month since beginning of this year. This is a forum, not a forum to exhaust these topics. It's a forum to raise the issues that we have across different topics in our scientific career. So we have 1 hour and we'll try to cover as much as possible. But we want the conversation to continue. Once this is done, we upload on our YouTube channel. So you have opportunities to continue the conversation and make comments there so that we can benefit from each other. All right, so today we'll be looking at the topic, what to do when an editor says no to your paper. This is the 6th edition of these tips and tricks, and we'll have the next edition. I will announce at the end of this presentation. All right, so for those who are just joining, as usual, use the chat box to introduce yourself. I would like to give you 10 minutes to each group. I will share you to different breakout rooms now. I would like you to go and just chat in your group about the question you see on your screen. So please can take a picture of it within your group, chat about that. And when you do that, please appoint one person from your group who will come to use 1 minute, just 1 minute, to tell us what are your thoughts on these issues. So appoint somebody from your group who will do that. So take a picture of that while I send you to your breakout groups. All right, so this will come in front of you and choose the group you are assigned. This is done automatically. So 10 minutes, I'll bring you back. So 15 past the hour, I will bring you back to the main room and we can continue. All right, welcome back. Who is speaking for group number 1? Please raise your hand so that I can recognize you and unmute you. Who is speaking for group number 1? All right, I have Joseph. Joseph, you can unmute yourself and tell us within a minute what you have discussed in group number 1.
Yes, this is Joseph, PhD student from Makerere University. Within our group members, we have had a little chat, and of course, once your paper is rejected, you feel bad. The experience is that you feel bad, and the beautiful thing about it is that they give you comments. So you're given comments why your paper was rejected. So you have to work on the comments, and then you try another journal. And most of the things that may lead to rejection is we have high. We like to send our papers to high impact journals that have a high rejection rate. But the advice is once the paper is rejected, you try to address on a comment, you don't throw it away. And then you try to submit to another journal.
All right.
That is briefly what we've discussed.
Okay, thank you. Joseph, who is speaking for group number 2? Is it Hani?
Yes.
All right, please.
Yes, like Joseph said, I take the reviewer comment in my consideration and try to apply their advices for my paper, and resubmit my paper after reviewing for second time to another journal.
All right. Group number 3, who is speaking for group number 3? Please raise your hand if you're speaking for group number 3. All right, Yahaya. Yahaya, you can unmute and speak.
So thank you very much, Prof. The discussion in group 3 goes as follows. The first question is, has your paper been rejected before? The answer from the group discussion was yes. The second question was, how do you feel after this rejection? So some members suggested they were sad, some were depressed, we were disappointed, and somebody even went ahead to say she was scared of going further to submit to another journal. So the third question was, what did you do after this rejection? We tried to review after reading the reasons why and suggestions of the publisher. And the second point is that another paper was sent out to another journal. And in a situation where the rejection was due to some corrections, they were made and resubmitted to the same journal. So the last question was, what do we advise colleagues to do in such a situation? So we advise colleagues to feel free and to follow reviewers' advice. Another point was, if out of scope, let's say the rejection was for reasons of out of scope, we should then check another journal, which definitely this time around, we have to make sure that the scope of the journal is particularly interested in what we are trying to discuss. The next point is to explain contributions that the paper has the contributions of the paper clearly in our journal, so that it doesn't, thank you. And to avoid plagiarism. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Yahaya. Group number 3. Group number 4, who is speaking? Who is speaking for group number 4? Please raise your hand. Group number 4, anyone representing group number 4? You want us to move on? Nobody is coming for group number 4. All right, I'll move on. Please, if you're just coming in now, check out the links Eman is putting on the chat box. Some of you may want to have the presentation for today. Please fill in that form that is there on that link. If you have not registered to the ASFI second anniversary to be held on the 31st of July, the link is also there for you to register. And as well, we have the link to ASFI YouTube channel, where the recording of this workshop will be put after it is done, so you can check it out. And if you missed the other editions, they are all on our YouTube channel. You can rewatch them. And all our materials, our seminar series, our courses are all available on our YouTube channel. So that would be a good resource. You can lay your hands on to see what we have done and been doing if you have missed any of them. And of course, the SFI website is there amongst the links, as well as our Twitter handle. So if you follow us, check out for SFI also on your LinkedIn and connect, and as well as Facebook, connect with SFI, and you'll be receiving timely information from us. So if you want to get the presentation of today, fill the form there and then check out the other links. All right, we will continue. So thank you all the groups for your insight into what we are talking about today. All right, let me start. I think the best place to actually start is to highlight this. Those of you who perhaps have attended our course on reproducibility in scientific research, you might have come across this name, Robert Merton, who in 1942 or way back has described some what he called the ethos of scientific research, or values of modern science. And you know, within the ASFI network, we have much emphasis on the goal of the scientific exercise we do, the scientific research. It is not to serve our purpose, it is to support the development of the society. And so if you're a scientist or a researcher, and what you do, regardless of the field you find yourself, does not have a perspective towards improvement of life in the society or making our society a better place, then you need to really reconsider whether you have a germane motivation to do what you are doing. And so Robert Merton was highlighting four, he said, core ethos of scientific research. I will not go through the four of them. If you have not attended our course on the reproducibility scientific research, attend that course when it's announced. But I would like to emphasize the last one, organized skepticism, which is very much related to what we're talking about today. And I will come to that. To him, the scientific community, scientific research is a place where we engage in what he has termed organized skepticism. Here he says that the ethos of science involves the functionally necessary demand that theories or generalizations be evaluated in terms of their logical consistency and consonance with facts. So what he's alluding to is that what we do, anybody can come up and say anything, he has observed, he said he has done. But as scientists, it is our role to have our eyes open, to criticize, to scrutinize, and to actually subject such claims to process of verification, okay? And so he highlights and suggests that scientists should not take scientific findings at the face value. We shouldn't take findings at face value. And so somebody reports something, we have the duty to scrutinize what somebody has presented. And when that is happening, many times, you see, we grow sometimes in a culture where criticism is negative. Criticism is a negative attitude towards us. And so once that happens, we become so defensive. But in science, such attitudes need to be refined to actually open our doors to criticism. Okay? So Robert Merton is saying that criticism should be strictly part of the scientific process. And you can understand that. We can take this further. In the course, ASFI course on reproducibility in scientific research, we take it further to actually look into implication if we do not hold on to this scrutiny. The implication is that lots of things can come out, and some of the findings may be fraudulent, some of the findings may be out of error, and then the goal is to influence the society. And you take some of these fraudulent findings and the errors to apply in the society. And if those findings are not true, they can cause lots of problems. So through this scrutiny, active peer review is indispensable. Replication, reproducibility initiatives are indispensable. And so echoing what Robert was saying, Richard Feynman now highlighted that science is the organized skepticism in the reliability of expert opinion. So science is the organized skepticism in the reliability of expert opinion. So once expert opinion is made, the scientific process initiates a process through which we can, once we see it, we can already say, I don't believe it until I confirm it. That is what the scientific process brings on board. All right, so that takes us to the context of what we are trying to highlight briefly this afternoon, the peer review process in the scientific affair. So it is defined as the process of subjecting an author's scholarly work, research, or ideas to the scrutiny of others who are experts in the same field. So a process of subjecting an author's scholarly work, research, or ideas to the scrutiny of others who are experts in the field. So peer review is very important to satisfy this aspect of ensuring that what we do has value and is something that we all perhaps agree to, because we have subjected it to a process of verification and refinement. And what happens today, how this is practiced, is that journals where scientists publish their work to communicate their finding to peers or to the scientific community, this formal process of allowing experts in the field to scrutinize what the scientists have done has been initiated. I wouldn't go through the history of peer review, but it has been there long time ago. But formally, around the 16th century, this was formally adopted and it has grown. All right. So when you're doing what you're doing, know that to a large extent, there is a big brother, there's a big sister who is watching. Okay, how does it work? All right, so there's the author, there's the editorial team, and there are reviewers. So there are three types of actors that are operating in the scientific publishing process. So the author submits the manuscript to the journal where the editorial team is working, the editors, and of course, the administrative staff. And the first thing they do is they check that your manuscript adhere to the format they have outlined for authors to follow. And the editor takes your paper and have a quick look and see whether it is of interest to them. At this point, the editor may, after checking it and does not find it interesting or for other reasons, reject. Okay? So reject it and send it back. In reality, many journals, some of the top journals have rejection at this level up to 90%, some 80% at this level. So the editor just decide that this does not meet their requirement. All right, so another decision that the editor may have to make is, well, this paper seems interesting, I will send it to peer review to allow peers to look at this. And then the peer reviewers come. And so what we are discussing today is rejection. Rejection may occur at this level, at the editorial level, where it has not been sent to peer review. But if it's sent to peer review, it goes to the peer reviewers and they evaluate that. And the reviewers return their comments to the editor. And then editorial decision will be made at this level, considering the reviewers' comments as well as the impression of the editor of the work. And it may end up that even after the peer review, it is rejected. All right. And then it is possible, and this is often the case, if it's not rejected after peer review, it is often the case that the authors will be invited to resubmit a revised version of the paper. Okay, and then the authors will go to work and then submit again. At this time, it can also be rejected or it can be accepted. All right. Once it is resubmitted, the editors usually will also send it back to the peer reviewers. Depending on the amount of work the peer reviewers have recommended. If it is that what they have recommended is minor, that the editor can make a decision on behalf of the reviewers, that can be done, but otherwise the editor may send it back to the reviewers to look at the revision has been made. And then once that is returned, the editor will make the final decision whether further changes need to be made or to reject or to accept the paper. this is in a nutshell how this works. There can be some variations. There can be some additions from different journals that occur in this process, but in a nutshell, this is how it works. And there are different types of peer reviews. The major ones are single blind review. And this is usually in a case where, as you can see on the right side, the authors don't know who the reviewers are, but the reviewers know who the authors are, okay? It could be double-blind review in which the reviewers don't know the authors as well as the authors don't know who the reviewers are. And the more recent one is the open peer review. And the open peer review is what has been initiated to increase the credibility of scientific research through which both the authors and the reviewers know who each person is. And of course, the authors will only know who the reviewers are when the reports has the comments from the reviewers has been sent back to the authors. But initially, when the paper is submitted and sent to the reviewers will automatically know who the authors are. And for many journals that use the open peer review process, the comments made by the reviewer and the name of the reviewer usually accompany the published paper online. We can discuss the advantages, the features, disadvantages of each of these methods, but that is not the presentation we have today. If you want to get deeper into this, also please register to our reproducibility in scientific research course whenever it is announced. All right. Okay, what is the benefit of the peer review process? And of course, taking a cue from what Martin was trying to say, the general thing you will come up with is that it helps to improve the quality of the scientific output. It helps to increase confidence. It helps us to really know that this is not just a personal opinion. It has gone through a process of verification, and peers in the field have attested to this and advised that this should be published. Okay. And so for the editor to make a decision on accepting a paper or rejecting it, the peer review process helps the editor to do that. All right. And the peer review process also provides a platform to give feedback to the authors of the paper. And this feedback can tremendously help to improve the quality of your work, And so through the criticisms, the reviewers will provide around validity, significance, the rigor of the work you have done, the originality, the relevance to the field, you can see tremendous increase. Even if the paper is rejected after peer review or not, if it's rejected, the comments that have been raised by the reviewers can help you to update your information, upgrade, refine, and enhance the quality of your work. Peer reviewers then will judge your research methodology, how sound it is, the accuracy of the measurements you have made, the accuracy of the data you have used, and the relevance of your data analysis, how it has been done, if it's done well, and so does it adhere to the standard of things in your field, the accuracy and robustness of your presentation. See, scientists are people who are known to be systematic in the way they do things. But believe you me, it is not always the case. Many scientists are careless about what they do. Sorry to say that, but that is the fact. Very careless from the head to the hand. We are careless the way we do things. Even some who are top scientists. So the peer review provides you opportunity to clean your house and make your study, your presentation more robust. All right. So the benefits, the errors. Yes, peer review has been set up to ensure that we have the quality of work enhanced to provide a place of scrutiny. But honestly, many things have gone wrong in the scientific field. There are kinds who are not wearing the same robe as we are wearing. They are wearing white, for instance, in your lab, but inside that robe, they are wearing black. They are wearing black in their heart. So their goal is to make a name, and so they engage in fraudulent activities to the extent that they fabricate data, they fabricate information, and many of them end up publishing in top journals. But those publications sound so sweet that they turn out to be fraud, errors. But the problem is that these publications go through the peer review process. Okay, go to the peer review process, and they were not detected. So although the peer review process aims to enhance the quality of work, it does not always achieve that, because we end up meeting up with several fraudulent and errors that are there. Sometimes the peer review can be long. The duration can be long. Sometimes some journals can take up to a year and 6 months to review papers. And if the information contained in that paper is time-wise relevant, and so the duration there can actually slow advancement in science. We don't get information we need at the time we get it. And so before a paper is published, the relevance of the finding has passed. Yeah, many journals are out there now. Many scientists are also out there. And so getting reviewers to review is not easy. I can't remember when I reviewed last, because I reject anything that comes my way. I don't have time. And so it makes things really challenging, that it can affect the advancement we should be making in the peer review process. And so if you have also unqualified experts who do not have the necessary expertise, they will not really review the work given to them in the more excellent way. All right, why papers are rejected before peer review? Okay, the first thing you should know is that if you have poor quality research, it will be rejected by the editor. You don't need to, be too smart to detect that. If it's a poor quality work, it will get it. Results are not novel or are not significant enough. The content of the article is not within the scope of the journal. Some of you mentioned it as part of discussion in your group. You have duplicated. There are people who plagiarize. There are people who duplicate. There are people who do all kinds of things. Honestly, we need to, maybe we change the terminology to see if some guys will be frightened. We'll call them police scientists. But anyway, if you do that, it doesn't, the smart guys will always play around us. So they engage in duplication of other people's work, or authors may even duplicate their own work. If you don't conform to journal style or format and guidelines, the audience of your paper is not within the audience of the journal. There's lack of clarity, cohesiveness, results are speculative, not well presented. Article is too specialized or general, research crunch. The journal doesn't have resource to deal with your paper. And so the editor can reject. Okay. You can see an example of a rejection letter. Thank you for submitting your manuscript, which was very interesting. And I think with some work will be a valuable contribution to the literature. I was especially intrigued with your approach to distinguishing host choice errors from oligophagy, which is a problem very much in need of a solution. However, I don't think our journal is the right place for the manuscript you've written. I think it might reach its audience better in an entomology or plant insect interaction journal. I'm returning it to you without further review. Therefore, in order not to delay its eventual publication. This later, you get it? What do? It's not saying that your work is not good. He has actually acknowledged that, but it's not the right place. The letter may come in different ways, depending on which of these reasons you fall into. So this is rejection before even peer review is undertaken. All right, another kind of rejection after peer review is undertaken. Why are your papers rejected? Okay, the paper does not raise the right kind of questions. All right, the reviewers think that, well, we don't really, the hypothesis, the questions, no. Background lacks clarity of thoughts. What the background is to do. If you have not attended our course on art of scientific writing and publishing, please do that. That will be our next course this year after the one of next week. Some of you might have been admitted to the one of next week, systematic reviews and meta-analysis. The next course after that would be our course on art of scientific writing and publishing. If you have not attended it, please, when you see the information, register for it, and we help you to refine your communication ability as a scientist so that some of these issues, you already overcome them and you make it harder for the editor to say no. All right? Okay, so background, what does the background have to do? The background, if you don't have clarity, background has set of information it needs to contain. So come to that course and we'll show you how you can formulate an impressive one. Your data is incomplete, serious deficiencies in different sections of your paper, irrelevant and complicated graphics and tables. Yeah, some of these things we'll discuss in that course. Presentation of results, badly done. Discussion and conclusions do not answer the questions you have posed in your aims and objectives. All right, so there is a mismatch between the statement made in different sections of your paper. Authors have not worked hard enough to improve the presentation of the data. Even after the editor has given you opportunity to revise, you still don't improve that. There's overall lack of key elements of a good research. The hypothesis is not good. You have flawed methodology. The results are not well presented. Good discussions and recommendations are not there. References are not as recommended by the journal. Your language is very poor, and spelling and grammatical mistakes. I am in the editorial board of a few journals, 3 journals. I act as an editorial board member, and I see lots of these things. So when papers come to me, I need to make an editorial decision, and I see lots of these things coming up. And you can imagine there is a high level impression the society has on scientists. But when you come within us, you ask yourself, how is this person actually trained in what she's doing or he's doing? All right, so this is an example of rejection. This is mine, but don't tell it to anybody that you saw my rejection. No, of course, I have many of those. If you want, I can give you a package of those. Okay, I will come back to that to tell you that the cry of rejection is what is the common cry we all scientists do, and it can be joyous to go through this cry of rejection. Okay, so this one, it says, the editor is saying, due to your unwillingness to address the concerns raised by the reviewers and myself concerning your statistical analysis, conducting of a sub-analysis, phrasing of your abstract, and statement made in your discussion, and in line with your request to withdraw the manuscript from our journal, I reject your manuscript for publication. You can understand that you have stubborn authors here, stubborn. And when you have stubborn authors, you kick them out because they don't even understand the process. That you don't stick to your gun when there is an evidence against. If you want to argue your fact, you can argue it very well, but not in a way that you are carrying a gun. You want to shoot back, you know. Well, come to that course as well. We will teach you how you can reply to the reviewers. You can do it well. You can do it when you do it in a nice way. Honestly, the editors can be convinced. Okay, this is mine. And what is he saying here? That we'll get to inform you that we did not find your work, your manuscript acceptable for publication in this journal. We are really sorry that we will not be able to publish your manuscript. We thank you for submitting your work to this journal and hope that you will consider our journal again for publication of your future studies. Many issues summarized by associate editorial reviewers identify interest, but raise a significant number of major and minor issues. Given current competition, we have to reject it. We hope that the many constructive suggestions by reviewer 1 will be of use in your next target journal. The full comments of the reviewers were the following. So you get this, and when you get it, what happens? Goodness me, some people can have their weeks turned upside down. Some can have their night turned upside down. Some go home and they are barking at their husband, their wives. Some are barking at their children. Yeah, do you know what I'm going through? Well, colleagues, that is not the way. There are some realities we have to get you into. Some realities is that rejection is a common experience of every scientist. It's a common. Like I said earlier, it is a cry we most often cry. It's there and it's there to stay. Okay? If you look at, for instance, my career, I have got more rejections than acceptance, and I have to work on them to improve the paper. Rejection can come at the first instance. It can come at first instance before peer review. It can come after peer review. It's all rejection. Most journals have, as I said, 70 to 90, even 95 rejection rate. Okay? When you have a paper accepted without revision, it is a rare experience. A rare experience. Most scientists never experience it throughout their career. So far in my career, I have had it once. Okay, but it's rare. It's rare. So paper rejection is an essential part of the career curve. It teaches you perseverance. It brings to fore the strive for excellence in scientists. It helps you to recognize your frailty and how to improve your areas of weakness. So it's not anything strange, okay? What do you do when an editor says no? Some journals have opportunity for you to appeal. If you don't like the decision, you can appeal. Appeal it if you want. Well, the first thing that happens is that there is an emotional part of it. When that letter comes, some people are reading it, they have not even finished reading it. There is a amount of tears coming, falling on the keyboard, and people are. Is there anyone who has experienced that there? You can give me a thumbs up there. Can give me a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up. If you have been crying before, or if you have been emotionally down because you got that rejection letter, just give me a thumbs up. Well, that is what happens. Of course, some of us are very emotionally attached to our science, which is good, all right. So after that emotion, don't allow that emotion to be too long. Don't allow it. The reason being what I've said before, the realities that are there. It's a common experience we all have. All right, so if you need to appeal, you appeal and resubmit to the journal if there is opportunity, or if the journal says resubmit to them if you can improve what you have done according to the comments. If they ask you to revise and submit, you can do that, or you revise and submit to a different journal. You know, when you get that comment, unless you don't have comments, then you can send directly to another journal. But if you have comments from reviewers, please don't be in a hurry to send. Look at those comments and see if you can improve. See first if you can improve. Sometimes the comments may not be too relevant, maybe out of scope also, but don't be in a hurry. Look at those comments. So make necessary changes and submit, or make no changes if you are sure nothing substantial needs to be changed. Some may decide, maybe they have submitted it to different journals. I remember one of my papers, it was accepted by the 11th journal. It was accepted by the 11th journal. And so, but by the time it was accepted by the 11th journal, if you compare it to the first journal I submitted, you can see that there has been a huge amount of refinement, because I was taking into account every comment I was getting from every journal. But now, don't be too emotionally affected that you go and you file the paper somewhere and never resubmit it. And you say, well, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want to be a scientist. I don't want to be a researcher. It's so hard. This, what is me? They're always attacking me. They're always attacking me. No, it's not about you, okay? It's not about you. Don't take it personal, but cry if you want to. Get over it and move on. All right? Don't settle down there and never move on. Colin Powell, we all know there are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. You must learn from failure if you are to succeed in this fair of planet we find ourselves, because failures will come. You have to learn from them, and then you move on. All right, that is the end of the tips and tricks for today, and I hope you have gained something there from this discussion. Our next tips and tricks will be coming on 26th of August, and it will be science and ignorance. Science and ignorance. This is something that you see, they don't go together for many people. Science and ignorance. How are they related? How are they connected? Actually, some of you might be hearing this for the first time, but if you plan not to come, please come. This will be important. In fact, what we are going to be discussing there on that day may be more important than what you have. Well, they're all important. Get me. But the fact is that it may be a new thing for you. Don't miss out. Bring your friends, bring your colleagues around so that we can all look at this and discuss together. So 26th of August, more information will come as we go on. Please ensure that you feel, if you want to get this presentation today, fill the form. Eman will put that link again so that we can send it to you, so that you can have it. If you have not registered to the ASFI second anniversary, the link is also in one of those links Eman is sharing there. We have striven for 2 years now. And we want to tell you how it has been, the ups and downs, the joys, the challenges that have been there. And we want to do it with you. So please register and join us on the 31st of July. All right.
Right, we have 2 questions.
2 questions. Yeah, we
Yes.
can take those. We're out of time, but we'll take those quickly. Yeah, let me know.
Is the university name have an effect on decision taking for publication of papers?
Nope, it shouldn't have. I've not heard about that before. Don't think about that, actually. Don't think about that. Think about the work you have done, the science. Put your mind and refine it. You can move from a not known university and to a high impact publication just by doing good science. The university name shouldn't have any issues. Yep.
The second one, if an author have several papers rejected by the same journal, is this ruins the author's reputation?
Is it what?
Is this affects the author reputation? Have a bad effect on this author reputation?
Reputation?
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't. You're not working for the journal. You're trying to publish. But if you have that experience that you have several papers rejected from the same journal, then you have to actually check the reason for rejection, not your reputation. What is the reason for rejection? You have to think about it. Perhaps they are giving you comments and you're not taking those comments, or it is that what you're submitting is out of scope. That journal is not your journal where you're supposed to be submitting your work. But in terms of your reputation, no, it doesn't.
Yes. Thanks, Bright. This is all. And I want to say that everyone new to AS5 activities, your email already is in our mailing list, and you will receive updates by email already once you register to any AS5 event. And also you have the links for social media of AS5 you can follow and see updates.
All right, thank you very much, Eman. There's a last question there. Which person is asking whether it is right to submit your paper to several journals at the same time. No, don't do that. In fact, when you submit to the journals, it's a required part. You have to maybe indicate on the journal website or in your cover letter that you have not submitted your paper to any other journal while it is being submitted to this particular one. You can't submit your paper to more than one journal at the same time. All right, so thank you very much for those who are joining us next week course. We'll see you on Monday. And for those who are not joining, we'll see you on the 31st of July.